mostly gone, but watch out, cause it tends to move so fast. There's midnight yells and football games, silver taps and lots of time to tailgate. We study hard, but we still try to make it count, because that's really what A&M is about. New year, there's so much to do. This life is wonderfully new, but watch out, cause it tends to move so fast. Last year, you're almost done. You start to realize how much time has gone. Ain't it crazy how it moves so fast? My name is Jackie Berry, and I did the vocals and the lyrics. I'm a classically trained performer, and I've been training and performing since I was around 8. I've performed as a soloist in lots of cool places like the Grand Cathedral in Washington, D.C., and I was the first female performer to ever perform at the Texas Renaissance Festival. Performing vocally is extremely, extremely important to me because it was actually a really big part of me learning how to speak English clearly. I am partially deaf, almost completely without hearing on my left side. I can still hear, but just barely. And growing up, it was really hard for me to speak because I couldn't hear myself speaking, so I wasn't able to enunciate words properly, which made it really hard to understand me. But learning how to sing, I learned how to use consonants properly and how to enunciate my words very well. And it made it much, much easier for me to speak as I got older, as I hope is obvious. In our piece, we have 4 main musical elements present. We have rhythm, texture, melody, and form. So first, rhythm. So we have multiple different forms of rhythm. Our piece was recorded in 4/4 time. However, we have maracas, clapping, and helmet drum that all play multiple different rhythms all at the same time. That being said, that shows our polyphonic texture. Because we layered each of the percussionary elements on top of each other, all playing separate rhythms, we built a thicker polyphonic texture. We also have a heterophonic texture, which is shown between the guitars. The guitars are both playing the same chord progression, so all the notes being played are the same. However, each guitar is emphasizing different notes and they're playing different strum patterns. The melody of our piece is also present. It's shown through the lyrics and the vocals, being that both the verses have the same notes in the same order and both the choruses also have the same notes in the same order. Our piece altogether is split into 4 sections, which shows our form. We have 2 verses and 2 choruses. Each verse is also split into 2 separate sections, which builds 4 separate sections for each verse, or verses collectively. The form is also shown in the notes because each of the verses has the same notes in the same order, and each chorus also has the same notes in the same order, which gives the song 2 distinct musical parts repeated.
Hi, my name is Josie, and I provided the first rhythm you hear in the first few seconds of our song. According to our textbook, the term rhythm refers to the general tempo organization of music. Basically, the rhythm is supposed to be a pattern of sounds that lasts throughout the song, that provide organization, tempo, and just overall structure to the composition. In our song, however, the rhythm that I played lasts all the way through the first verses, and then during the chorus, it stops playing, and a different rhythm is provided to complement the chorus. And then after the chorus is over, my rhythm comes back into play and finishes off the song. I started playing the guitar when I was about 15 years old, but never really got too into it because I was mostly interested in sports at the time. I only became an avid guitar player about a year ago and have really grown to love it. I've always enjoyed the sound of string instruments. The first instrument that I actually ever played was the violin, but I only played that for about 4 years until I was introduced to the guitar, and then after that I just preferred to play the guitar, to strum. Perhaps the reason why I am so interested in the guitar and love it so much is because it reminds me of my dad. My dad always played around the house. He played for me and my siblings at nights, during parties, for our birthday parties. He would sing happy birthday for us. He actually was the first one to teach me how to play the first 3 chords that I ever learned, which were E, C, and G. He told me that I could play an infinite amount of songs with just those 3 chords, and subconsciously, when coming up with the chord progression for a song, those 3 chords were the ones that I used to build the rhythm. I have become an avid player for about a year now, and it's just something that I do to distract me from my everyday busy life. As a college student, we can all relate in the sense that we are busy, and sometimes we just have to find something to do in order for us to release ourselves from the stress that we encounter every day. And for me, it just so happens to be playing guitar.
I was the one playing the helmet drums, or just tapping on my helmet. So for a lot of Aggies here, we have to commute to class, whether it be by bus, car, or motorcycle. I just so happened to ride a motorcycle. Cars and motorcycles has always been my passion. As a kid, I would always love wrenching on stuff, and as I grew up, it just turned to automobiles. Because of my background in cars and bikes, we decided to use my helmet as a drum, and it helped accent the strum pattern of the guitar in our piece.
Maracas by Valeria Chaires. My contribution to the project was the act of keeping the rhythm of the song with maracas in the background. I chose to play maracas because I felt that it described my cultural background and my home country, which is Mexico. Maracas make a big part of Mexico, especially during big festival events such as Cinco de Mayo and 16 de Septiembre, which celebrates the independence of Mexico. I believe that the maracas also signify the presence of diversity in Texas A&M. As I entered Texas A&M, I felt like I wasn't going to fit in because of my background. However, I realized that there was an abundance of diversity, which made me be proud from where I came from.
Part of the project, I was responsible for clapping and keeping the group on tempo. I chose to clap because as a sorority woman, we go through recruitment every single fall. A trademark of recruitment is to bounce and clap, and I thought it was really cool to be able to incorporate the clapping and incorporate my sisterhood that way.
My name's Ryan Love, and throughout the piece, I played a nylon classical guitar. For the beginning and ending verses, I played a fingerstyle accompaniment that harmonized with Josie's steel string guitar, and during the chorus, I switched to strumming the guitar to accompany the vocal melody. Guitars have really shaped the lasting memories of my childhood. I can remember receiving my very first guitar when I was only 6 years old, and it was this really sweet red Epiphone Flying V. It was a junior size. We'll never forget that. And performing in multiple guitar concerts during middle school, also very memorable. Not the best guitar concerts you'll ever go to, I'm sure, but they were fun nonetheless. I do not play very much anymore, but whenever I get really stressed out, it's the first thing I go to. Always takes the edge off. For our sound mark, our group decided to use the announcement that one would hear if you're riding the Aggie Spirit, which is our bus for anyone who wasn't familiar with it, that you would hear when you approach the MSC stop, because we thought that this would be a very familiar stop to everyone who goes to A&M. And pretty much we can guarantee that every Aggie has encountered the bus, whether they were riding it or nearly being ran over by it. Hopefully that wasn't the case, but I wouldn't put it past some of the drivers. The bus was also very symbolic to each of us about the journey through college, where we all come from different places. We arrive at A&M, and then after we're done with our ride at A&M, we all go out into the world to achieve the different goals that we, at first came to A&M for.